Caden Thorne stood on the observation deck, overlooking the training grounds of the Earth Defense Coalition (EDC) base. Below him, his team moved with precision, executing maneuvers designed to prepare them for the inevitable clash with the Zarkonian Empire. Among them was Varric, the green-skinned alien whose presence still sparked curiosity among the human soldiers. Captain Thorne, Lieutenant Ramirez approached, her voice tinged with urgency. "Commander Jacobs requests your presence in the war room immediately." Caden nodded, his jaw tightening with resolve. He followed Ramirez through the bustling corridors of the base, passing technicians and soldiers preparing for what was to come. In the war room, holographic displays flickered to life, showing the approaching Zarkonian fleet. Commander Jacobs, a seasoned officer with graying hair and a steely gaze, addressed the gathered leaders. "Gentlemen, ladies, the Zarkonians are coming. Intelligence reports suggest they underestimate our capabilities, believing us to be an easy conquest." Caden listened intently as Jacobs outlined the strategic importance of their defense perimeter and the expected timeline of the enemy's arrival. He glanced at Varric, who stood at attention, his expression unreadable. "We faced overwhelming odds before." Caden spoke, his voice calm but resolute. "Today, we prove that humanity's strength lies not just in our weapons, but in our unity and determination." Just then, alarms blared throughout the base, signaling the Zarkonian fleet's imminent arrival. The war room emptied as everyone rushed to their posts. Caden's heart raced with anticipation as he led his team to the front lines, ready to defend their home. The sky above the EDC base darkened with the arrival of Zarkonian dropships. Caden's team took up defensive positions, the training kicking in as they awaited the first wave of attackers. Varric moved with agility, his alien physiology granting him a unique advantage in the battlefield. "Here they come," Caden murmured, his eyes narrowing as the first dropships disgorged troops onto the ground below. The battle erupted with startling ferocity. Human and Zarkonian soldiers clashed in a whirlwind of gunfire and explosions. Caden directed his team with precision, coordinating their movements to counter the enemy's advance. Varric proved his worth, anticipating enemy maneuvers and providing crucial intelligence. On board his flagship, Supreme Commander Sal Thurl watched the battle unfold with growing frustration. His initial confidence in a swift victory waned as the human defenders proved more resilient than anticipated. "They fight with unexpected tenacity," Sal Thurl observed, his voice laced with disdain. "Prepare the next wave. I will lead it personally." Back on the ground, Caden's team faced mounting pressure as the Zarkonians reinforced their positions. The humans held their ground, but the arrival of a massive warship turned the tide against them. Caden gritted his teeth, rallying his team for a desperate stand. "Fall back to secondary positions," Caden shouted over the din of battle. "Hold them off as long as you can." The air crackled with energy as the EDC soldiers regrouped, preparing for another onslaught. With determination etched on their faces, they braced themselves for the next wave of Zarkonian aggression. The Zarkonians pressed their advantage, pushing the EDC forces to their limits. Caden's team fought valiantly, their spirits buoyed by Varric's unwavering courage. Amid the chaos of battle, personal bonds strengthened as soldiers covered each other's backs with fierce loyalty. "We can't keep this up forever," Ramirez said, her voice strained but determined. "We need a breakthrough, Captain." Caden nodded grimly, surveying the battlefield with a strategist's eye. He knew they couldn't afford to lose ground, yet the Zarkonians seemed relentless in their assault. Varric approached, a determined glint in his eye. "I have an idea," Varric said, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Their command center is vulnerable. If we can disrupt their communications, it could give us the opening we need." Caden considered Varric's suggestion. It was risky, but their current defensive strategy was faltering. He nodded decisively. "Take a squad and make it happen," Caden ordered. "We'll hold the line here." Varric nodded, gathering a small team of volunteers. Together, they slipped through the shifting battleground, evading Zarkonian patrols as they made their way towards the enemy's command hub. Meanwhile, Sal Thurl observed the battle from his command ship, his frustration growing with each setback. He knew the key to victory lay in breaking the human defender's resolve. With a cold smile, he donned his armor and prepared to lead a decisive strike against Caden Thorne himself. In the heart of the battlefield, Caden faced off against Sal Thurl in a duel that echoed the larger conflict. The Zarkonian leader, towering and posing in his battle armor, swung his weapon with brutal efficiency. Caden danced nimbly around his opponent, using speed and agility to gain the upper hand. "You fight well for a human," Sal Thurl growled, his eyes burning with contempt. Caden parried Sal Thurl's blow, his own determination fueling every strike. "We're not as weak as you think." Their duel intensified, drawing the attention of both armies. The outcome of their clash would sway the battle's momentum in favor of whoever emerged victorious. Meanwhile, Varric and his team infiltrated the Zarkonian command center. With precise coordination, they disabled communications and disrupted enemy logistics. The sudden chaos threw the Zarkonians into disarray, giving the EDC forces a much-needed advantage. "We've done it," Varric radioed in, relief evident in his voice. "The command is crippled." Back on the battlefield, the tide turned as EDC reinforcements surged forward, emboldened by the disruption in Zarkonian ranks. Caden and his team pressed their advantage, pushing the invaders back with renewed vigor. Salthura, seeing his forces falter, retreated with a snarl of frustration. The human defenders cheered as the remaining Zarkonians fled the battlefield, their morale bolstered by a hard-won victory. With the Zarkonians in retreat, Caden and his team regrouped at the EDC base. Cheers and embraces filled the air as soldiers celebrated their triumph against overwhelming odds. Varric received accolades for his bravery, bridging the gap between humans and aliens in a powerful display of unity. "We couldn't have done it without you," Caden said to Varric, clapping him on the shoulder. "You're one of us now." Varric nodded, a rare smile gracing his features. "Together, we're stronger." As the celebrations continued, Caden took a moment to reflect on the battles fought and the challenges ahead. The Zarkonian threat had been repelled, but he knew they would return, their hunger for conquest undiminished. In the quiet of his quarters, Caden studied the stars through the window. A distant signal caught his attention, its origin unknown, but its implications clear. The universe was vast, filled with unknown dangers and potential allies. "We'll be ready," Caden murmured to himself, steeling his resolve. "Whatever comes next, humanity will stand united." Outside, the stars twinkled in silent agreement, bearing witness to the resilience of those who called Earth their home.